Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show, a podcast exclusively designed to create more reproductive health awareness and discuss your fertility preservation options. Here is your host, the Harvard-educated fertility specialist, Dr. Amy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's Egg Whisperer Show. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Dr. Amy, and I'm a fertility specialist that works out of the San Francisco Bay Area. I have a lot of experience helping thousands of people through their IVF cycles. And through this experience, I've learned what things my patients really enjoy and what really helps as far as getting them through their IVF cycle so they have a really smooth experience and a really easy recovery. So that's why I'm calling this show your essential IVF must-haves. The first thing I teach my patients about electrolyte powders. Listen to this. You don't have to drink the Gatorade, the Propels, and those really sugary sports drinks. You can get either liquid IV from Costco or drip drop from Walgreens. Easy to get online, in person, and you can fill up your water bottles and be on your way knowing that you're not only going to have juicy eggs, but also juicy veins. So your phlebotomist isn't going to be struggling during your blood draws. The other thing I talk to patients about is finding a really easy to drink and tolerate that you find tasty protein shake. So this is my favorite. I grab these on the go as I'm walking out the door and I drink them in between cases as a snack. They're also great in pregnancy too. So something to think about as well. Find a nice protein shake that you like because as you're feeling bloated throughout your IVF cycle, it's harder to eat food. And so knowing that there's something that you can go to is a great option. So the third thing, and this is because patients always ask me, Amy, what food should I eat? What will improve my fertility? And we know that a plant-based diet along the lines of a Mediterranean diet as well can improve fertility. And when you're going through IVF, you're super busy. You're juggling work, you're juggling family, friends, life, and then all these visits. Who has time to do meal planning? So working with a meal delivery service is a great way to feel healthy, have nutritious food, and whether you're providing the sperm or the egg, it's good for both of you. So be sure to look at meal delivery services in your area, and Thistle is just one of them in our area. You can go to thistle.co to learn more and see their menu and see if it's something that you like. So now let's talk about the poop emergency. Yes, I did just say that. So as your ovaries are getting fuller and bigger and you're feeling more bloated, what happens? Everything slows down, including your bowels. And then you go in for the egg retrieval and guess what? They're giving you medication to sedate you, but it also puts your bowel to sleep. So it makes it harder for you to go poop. So guess what? I don't want you running to the store in the middle of the night to solve this poop problem. So be prepared and grab a stool softener as you're going through the grocery store and be prepared so that you don't call me and ask me what you should be taking. You already know to take a stool softener every couple days is needed before the retrieval if you need it and even after. And no, you will not poop your embryo out, but this is a safe way so you feel like you're not going to. So the other thing that I tell patients about is listen, as you're going through IVF, you're going to feel this egg white cervical mucus and no, the egg white is not coming from your eggs. It's just from the estrogen levels as they're rising. You've probably felt it around ovulation. You feel that slippery egg white. Well, it's not ovulation in an IVF cycle. It's just a sign of high estrogen levels, just like what happens around ovulation. And that also means that maybe you're going to be going through your underwear a little bit more. So you don't have to do that. You can get panty liners. And you also may want to have a panty liner for around the time when you're doing your transfer, because during the transfer, if your doctor is supporting the pregnancy with vaginal progesterone inserts, you might want to have a panty liner on hand. And again, not be running to the store for these essentials. So panty liners is definitely the fifth essential IVF must-have that I talk to my patients about. And this stuff is really cool. Underwear. Yep, I said underwear. Underwear that's waterproof. Because again, if you don't want to use a panty liner, you can at least try underwear that will absorb the moisture so you don't feel always wet down there. And of course, you've heard me talking about my crotchless fertility pants. They are coming soon, and I mean really soon. So they are part of the essential IVF must-haves, and you'll be able to get them, like I said, soon. So stay tuned. Maybe next show, I'll have an announcement about them. So the seventh must-have are pain meds. Imagine you have all these balloons in your tummy, ready to pop, and then someone goes in and starts popping them. Well, that's kind of what an egg retrieval is like. It's an ultrasound while you're asleep, but your ovaries will feel bruised afterwards. So you need Motrin, you need Tylenol, and I offer all my patients a stronger pain medication like Tylenol with codeine. Maybe 5% of patients use it, but having the option of taking something at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning at least gives you the opportunity to get a good night's rest. 5% of my patients are too bloated to go to work the day after the egg retrieval, and those patients really, really appreciate having something stronger for pain rather than just Motrin or Tylenol. So that's something that you may want to talk to your doctor about, and it's something I certainly offer all my patients. So now, the one thing everyone asks me is, what are the things that I should worry about? Well, I always tell them, look, ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome is one of the most serious complications that you can experience when you're going through IVF. But there are certain factors that make a patient more predisposed to that. For example, young age, high follicle count, high AMH level. So if your AMH level, for example, is over 3, 4, I've even had patients with AMH levels of 20 going through IVF. So these are the things that I do to make sure they stay safe. First, start on a low dose of medication, and after 2 days, get an estrogen level and then titrate the medication. If the level is super high of your estrogen level, then we can bring your dose of medication down. If it seems like it's the right dose, keep going and get seen frequently and often. When I have a patient that I'm more concerned that they may experience OHSS, I may see them even 7 times during the 2-week period of their IVF cycle, which is a lot more than average. The next thing is we talked about hydration. So hydration is extremely important for patients who are at higher risk of OHSS. And there are certain medications that we can always also use. For example, IV hydration with Hespan or albumin on the day of the egg retrieval and the next day, triggering with Lupron instead of HCG hormone. And the other thing that I do for patients who I'm worried about OHSS is bromocriptine. It's a small pill that you can take the night of the egg retrieval for about 2 weeks or until you're feeling better. And the other thing is to make sure that you don't do a fresh embryo transfer if your doctor is concerned for the complication of OHSS, because pregnancy hormones secreted from an embryo can make the ovaries think that they're still gonna grow. So you can get really, really sick if you have OHSS and then also transfer an embryo at the same time and then get pregnant. And the last thing is make sure you have an emergency number for the clinic, or not just an emergency, an after hours number. So if you have problems, complications, you can call someone and have someone that you talk to daily after the egg retrieval and give them physical updates about your weight, how you're feeling, your hydration, what your urine output is like, the color of your pee. These are the things that we talk about to keep our patients safe. So the last thing that I want to talk about is building your fertility team. Everyone needs a team. You need to build that team. You need to think to yourself, what do I need to make this experience as smooth as possible, not just physically, but also emotionally. So the T in team is for therapy. And I would say that there are much easier ways of finding a therapist today than perhaps even a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a year ago. And there's a company called Otify, OOTIFY.com, and they have a great platform, and you can find a therapist very easily through that platform and talk to them throughout your IVF cycle. So if you're having problems with depression, anxiety, I can tell you that going through the process of IVF and taking the fertility drugs might make you more vulnerable to both depression and anxiety. So you want to get the help that you need before you start and make sure that person is with you throughout the process. So talk to your doctor and find your team, the T part especially. The E is for exercise and eating, and we kind of already talked about that, especially with the protein shake, the hydration, and the meal preparation, and possibly a meal delivery service. But talking to your doctor about exercise and what they recommend in your particular situation is also really important, because exercising can help with your serotonin levels and help certainly with your mood throughout the process. The A is for acupuncture. So fertility acupuncture has many benefits, but one of them is helping with the physical symptoms of going through the IVF process. For example, the nausea, maybe even the pain. And if you have a really good acupuncturist, they can also guide you in early pregnancy. So early pregnancy patients who see acupuncturists, in my experience, have less nausea, have less pain, and feel better, especially in that first trimester. And the M is mindfulness and meditation. Again, so many apps out there that you can go to for meditations. And so when you're going through something that is stressful, and for some people, a lot of people, going through IVF is stressful because there's so many unknowns and what ifs. And we're always worried that, what if this isn't going to work? So making sure that you have your mantras in place, and the mantra that I use for my patients is, you're going to be a parent one way or another. Those are the kinds of things that I teach my patients. So make sure you have your mantra and you have built your fertility team before your cycle. So I hope this show really helped. I want to share my new GIF about the Tushy method, and there it is. T is for tubes, U is for uterus, S is for sperm, H is for hormones, and Y is for your genetics. It's for fertility screening made easy, and I want everyone to know that while life is complex, learning about your fertility should be easy and simple. So you can always go to eggwhisperer.com, read more on my website, go to my Medium account to also read more, and tune into this show. And I hope you'll subscribe to my newsletter, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night.
Thank you so much for listening and making the Egg Whisperer Show a part of your weekly routine. To find show notes and a full transcript for this episode, visit dramy.org and look under the blog tab. While you're there, you can find a link for the Egg Whisperer newsletter, which keeps you in the know about fertility news. You can also find Dr. Amy and the Egg Whisperer Show on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. If you'd like to learn even more, Dr. Amy offers classes at the Egg Whisperer School, eggwhispererschool.com, or you can request a consultation on dramy.org. Thank you so much for tuning in and for sharing the Egg Whisperer Show with others. Keep sparkling and have a great day.